I'm kind of hoping
All
once
right.
he...
We are live.
Oh, we are?
I
Okay.
believe so. That's. I have my laptop over here to double check that everything's running. So some people may jump in and be like, "Hey, man, we're actually here," and I'll be like, "Cool."
So professional. I love it.
Yep. There. Yep. Now live on your channel, JP Behrens. It looks like we're good to go.
Is that YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know where my face is going.
your face is on YouTube right this minute, and I'm about to post in the in our group for blah portrait on Facebook that the AMA is live. So along with
Okay, wait.
a link, and I need to move some stuff around. There we go. Post.
When you post it, I will share it.
There you go. I don't know if you can share it out of the group, but I will post it on the normal thing as well.
Okay.
Just because I'm awesome. But yeah, so hopefully some people will show up. And I'm going to mute my computer. That way I'm not getting double nonsense going.
Yeah. Oh, how's the YA coming? Wasn't I supposed to get a copy of that?
Yeah, as soon as I'm done editing it, you will get a copy of it. Actually, you'll get a copy of it, and a couple other people will, because there's some people who won my book, and as part of the giveaway, I offered to give them a sneak peek at anything I wrote this year. So they're going to get a sneak peek minimum of the YA, of the noir detective novella, H.P. Lovecraft noir detective novella that I'm working on, and then they'll get a sneak peek of hopefully the short story collection that I plan on putting together this year.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so I have to get everyone to sign
Anybody who watches this needs to pay attention to giveaways.
Yeah.
Because you get some cool stuff.
Yeah, well, here's the thing is I need to get everyone to sign an NDA before I send them anything.
Very smart.
Because apparently, I have to worry about that stuff now, especially since the YA is getting sent out to agents. I definitely need to do that up.
Yeah, I was wondering how that would work, because wasn't it like J.K. Rowling forever ago, one of the Harry Potter books like fell off a truck?
Well, yeah, fell off a truck.
Yeah, I know, but and people got to see it in advance, and that's a big.
Yeah, well, when was it, Goblet of Fire came out, I was working at a bookstore, and that bookstore
was it Atlantic?
No, it's a bookstore in New Jersey that is no longer open. But when that came out, that company had gotten like a bunch of crates of that book that had fallen off the back of a truck, and that's how they were selling it. I was like, oh wow, that's not shady at all. Oh,
well, okay.
I just made your window small by accident. So yeah, hopefully people show up. But,
I'm the guest. I can be smaller.
Hmm.
I said I'm the guest. I can be smaller.
Nah, it's okay. I like to make everybody equal. What's weird right now is that for some reason the live chat is not showing up on my screen, but luckily I have it on the side here, so I'll be able to see it as it pops up on my laptop. So I'm just not sure why it's not showing up on this thing. Maybe if I'm in studio mode is not the right answer. So anyway, but yeah, we're gonna at least talk about the blog post, Professional Jealousy.
Yes. I did my homework. I read it.
Oh, you read it?
I jealous you too.
Yeah, I know, right? We're both very jealous of one another. It's kind of weird.
In the best possible way.
Yeah, definitely. But, it's one of those things that I think a lot of people seem to think that is this horrible thing. Like, you can't be jealous. And it's like, you kind of can be jealous as long as you don't take it someplace that's, like, super toxic. Like, I have no
Yeah.
problem with people being jealous of one another, and for us to be, but at the same time, it drives you. It makes you go, hey, that person is amazing, and what the hell? That person's like, oh, like I really dig that person's work, and I want to catch up to them. And especially since you and I are like really good friends, it works out pretty well. Oh no, you froze.
You keep freezing. I don't know if it's on your end or my end.
I don't know. Oh, there you're back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I keep freezing for you?
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
Okay. I don't know. I think I have full internet.
Yeah, all my
Um,
all my little stats at the bottom show me pumping out at pretty high frame rate. So I believe it's you.
I
Your
was on a
fault.
Zoom call yesterday. I was
Was
on
it?
a Zoom call yesterday. It was doing the same stupid thing. Ugh.
It might be your Wi-Fi.
Maybe my Wi-Fi sucks. It needs to stop.
It does need to
Yeah.
stop.
But no, but I agree
Yeah, so
with the professional jealousy thing. Like, I don't know. I find it motivating. Like
yeah,
I
definitely.
want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm jealous of your, what is it, 100 reviews on Amazon or Goodreads or something.
Was it Amazon's like over 100 now, and I think and Goodreads is like is hitting around 200.
Yeah, yeah. It's so hard to get reviews, and that's what readers pay a lot of attention to. So
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the only reason I'm getting reviews right now that I mean, one of the main reasons I'm getting reviews right now because of uh, because of Books of Horror Facebook group. If it wasn't the Books of Horror Facebook group, I would not have the numbers that I currently have. So,
just telling Eric, my husband, that you have a really good small publisher who actually kind of goes to bat for you.
yes.
Um, and yeah, and just the fact that horror fans love new, interesting horror.
Yeah,
So
I'm surprised that people have been jumping on it in the way that they have and showing yeah, that works. Showing the support that they have been, which has been wonderful.
yeah, and it's very original. I think it's a very original premise. Not being a horror expert, fan of horror, but not a horror expert. I feel like it's a very interesting, unique sort of
You
premise.
know what? A lot of people some of the responses have been that it can be it has been at times original, but it's only original I think because when you get through the first third of the book, it goes in a completely different direction that people didn't expect. A lot of people have been we're expecting something along the lines of, we need to talk about Kevin. And then when I get to that point and there's still 2/3 of the book left, everyone's very much like, oh
Yeah,
my goodness, what's going on?
it's a horror
Which,
within a horror. It's horrorception.
yeah, it's horrorception. It's definitely taken it like a step further than anyone expected, which I'm happy that people are responding to that. That's kind of awesome. But yeah, right now the big thing is to get the word out, get books sold. Um, and honestly, right now it's just a matter of finishing up my edits on the YA fantasy and getting that knocked out so that I can get working on the H.P. Lovecraft Raymond Carver neo noir detective novella. So I
I'm
can get
excited
that
for
out.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know if you've told me about that one, but I'm excited for it.
I don't think I
Sounds
have. It started out as a short story that I ended up abandoning, and then I came back to it, and then I realized, oh, I can make this way bigger, and so I started working on it, and I definitely like popped it out quite a bit, and just built it up and built it up until it became like, okay, this is a novella, and I didn't really want to go beyond that because I thought it would be a really cool series of novellas that could just be quick little novella stories. And I really fell in love with the idea of the novella because of Sean and McGuire, Every Heart is a Doorway series, and it's the Wayward Girl series, which I absolutely love. And it's just a series of novellas that she just keeps jamming out, and they're all just wonderful and interesting and unique, but they all feed into each other. And I thought that was a really cool idea, and I wanted to see if I could, like, when I finished this book, I realized I could do something really similar, except it would be more like supernatural, but angry detective and young novice sorcerer with like H.P. Lovecraft type magic and stuff.
Is that something you're going to submit, or is that something you're kind of planning to self-pub?
I'm hoping to submit it, but it's a weird thing because I wanted to try and have it ready for next summer for Necronomicon. The kicker there is that if I wanted it ready for Necronomicon, I have to probably self-publish it. But I'm willing to hold it off. I'm willing to still go traditional publishing and maybe just have 2 ready for 2 years later.
Yeah.
So instead of doing it in 2024, I'll just book out to 2026 and wait and be like, okay, well, the book came out, but then in 2026 I'll show up and maybe I'll have like a couple in the series and then I'll just sell a few.
Yeah.
So I'm still playing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now it's a matter of I need to just finish it and get it done, and then I can worry about the rest.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering because I know novellas can be a little bit tricky.
You know what? Apparently, I was talking to, actually, when we were at Yale, I was talking to Alec, who is a agent out of Writers House.
Yes, Alex Shane.
And he does horror. And I was asking him about that, and he said right now, novellas are really hot in publishing houses, and they're looking for them because they're easy to turn around and get out. And there's a lot. It's a weird thing that kind of recently happened.
Okay.
And he said that's kind of a thing right now. Is novellas, especially in genre, novellas are having like a bit of a moment.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
Yeah. So I'm like, great.
Is that
perfect?
Is that just in horror and like thriller type, or is it?
I think it's in genre, but I think it's mainly anything that Tor is putting out.
Oh.
So because Tor.com is got their own line of novellas. I think Orbit's been putting out some novellas here and there. So it's definitely been fantasy, horror. They're the 2 main ones I've seen. I know that James Patterson for a while was jamming out novellas.
Yeah, I have always thought that they've been maybe not popular with agents, but popular with readers because like I'm sure this is not the only reason why they're popular, but like the Goodreads reading challenge, there were some years where I read like, Outlander, which is like 1,000 pages, and I would get credit for reading one book. And then with novellas, it's like you can just slam them out, get that reading challenge. You feel really accomplished in a really short amount of time.
Right.
I think. But
and you know what? I think when I posted this in the group, it didn't activate the @everyone thing.
Oh, maybe it didn't. I looked at it, but I didn't check. But Tor, I thought, once upon a time at least, you didn't actually need an agent to submit to Tor.
You know what? It's certain times a year they open it up, but not all the time.
Yeah. Well, let me.
There we go.
Did it work this time? JP Behrens and 8 other people shared this link. I don't know when.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see here. You know what I didn't do? I didn't hit the @everyone can mention this thing, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
God. Nope. I didn't mean to do that. Stop it. That wasn't a... Ugh. Sorry, I can edit it. God damn it.
All right, I am sharing.
Oh. There we go. Hopefully now everyone will show up.
Well, and everybody's on different time zones and stuff anyway, so they might just...
Well, that too, but I think part of it is like everyone's waiting for the alert. If you didn't subscribe to the channel yet, I don't think you get the alerts in your email, but then it goes to the email, so you have to like get the email and be like, oh, that thing's live right now. So
yeah,
I know it helps. I know it helps a lot when it's in the group and you hit at everyone, because then it definitely pings
Yeah,
everybody.
I saw that
And last
you
month,
put at everyone,
hmm?
but I guess it didn't connect.
Yeah, the at everyone. I'm still trying to figure out how the at everyone works on Facebook. Apparently, it's a fairly new thing. You can only, as an admin, use it once a day,
Oh.
and you hit it, and then you have to click it. You have to click the right thing that will alert people. If you just write it and I don't like select the hotkey or whatever,
Oh.
I don't select it off the list that pops up, apparently it won't work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't
So,
sure because I've gotten some messages recently that are like, you've been tagged in this post, and it's like at everyone.
at everyone, yeah, and it's only for groups. It's only in
Yeah.
Facebook groups. It doesn't work on the author page. It doesn't work on your personal page.
All right.
I just looked it up to figure it out.
Research.
So I was like, hey man, I want everybody I can get into this show. I would love to have them in. So it looks like somebody joined, unless you're watching on your end.
I don't think. Maybe. Hold on. I might have hit the link or something. Let me see. I don't have anything up.
Yeah. That's okay. It doesn't show me. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't show me who's watching particularly. So that's all right. If they have something to say, they'll drop it in the chat.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
okay.
no. So,
we can just hang out anyway.
What?
I said we can just hang out anyway.
Why not?
How are the kids?
No.
That's not why people are here.
But yeah, but no, novellas apparently are having a moment right now.
I like that.
I know a few years ago, another author, horror author, Laird Barron, had mentioned that novellas were a big thing, and he was even predicting that they were going to blow up in the near future, and 5 years later they did. So he wasn't quite wrong.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's why I feel like you can never really, or you shouldn't really try to write just stuff that's marketable, I guess, because if you just write what you want to write, eventually there will be a market for it.
Definitely.
So.
Well, you'd hope, and that's the thing. Like, one thing that's kind of nice right now is with self-publishing and with small press, you can definitely get away with a lot more stuff. Mm-hmm. You have way more opportunities, because Portrait would have never been published had it not been for if it hadn't been for a small publisher, D&T. If it wasn't for D&T Publishing, it would have never happened.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. The same thing goes for, and that's kind of hopeful in terms of you're not going to get like 5,000. Well, you could potentially get 5,000 sales, but you're still going to get noticed, and you're still going to get it out there, and your name's going to get seen, and somebody's messaging me. Oh, yeah. I thought someone was messaging me about this, but it's something else. But yeah, but you can at least get out there and get your name out there, and hit anything. You can kind of hit a lot of shows, and kind of just hustle your way into being seen.
Yeah, so you're good at that. You've always been very good at that. Yes.
I'm trying. I'm learning. I'm making a lot of missteps. Like, I've done a couple shows that were straight garbage. But I'm learning as I go. And luckily, I have a nice haul of old, rare Arkham House books that when I do go to shows, I'm not 100% reliant on my single book.
That is nice.
I'm selling older books that are worth a lot of money, that are definitely making it possible for me to afford the shows. When I run out of those rare books, that's when I'm going to be in some trouble. I'm going to have to hit some old library sales where people don't know the value of what they're selling, and kind of just gather things up.
Yeah, but also by then you'll have gotten a lay of the lands, and you'll probably know exactly which shows to go to and which ones to avoid. And
that's the hope. The kicker is, I think right now, one of the things I need to do is, like, what I'm trying to aim for with AuthorCon is last AuthorCon I had portrait, so the next AuthorCon I'm trying to have the collection of short stories. And hopefully every AuthorCon I can kind of make that my time of year motion of point, my point of reference every year of this is when I need to have something new out, so that I have something new that I'm trying to sell at every show.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of makes me like, while I'm not published and while I'm still kind of struggling and moving along and still trying to build a name, I'm trying to still put out one book a year. And I can always fall back on self-publishing and KDP to get that one book a year out until I hit agent, and then hit bigger publishing contracts, and then start jamming out, if I'm lucky, 3 to 4 books a year.
Yeah. Okay.
I would love to, like, my goal would be ultimately to do about 3 books a year, 1 adult, 1 young adult, and like 1 bonus project, be that collection of short stories, a kids book, illustrated kids book.
Keep everybody happy.
Rando novella, something. And then have like 3 projects a year would be what I would love to do. And I could knock that out. That wouldn't be too hard. I mean, that gives me about 4 months a project.
Yeah.
And if I can fit in generative work and editing work in the same day, I should be able to kind of keep that rolling.
Yeah, and it's much easier to stay motivated when you know that what you're writing has a home.
Well, yeah, and then I know people are waiting for it. People are going,
exactly.
I really want to see that.
It's not just gonna end up on a shelf.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't want deadlines, but I definitely want people being like, yeah, no.
You want people hungry for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's, once I start getting, like, because right now everyone's like, oh, when are you going to do your next splatterpunk book? And I'm like, probably not anytime soon.
Is that what the genre is considered?
What portrait is? Yeah, that's kind of the audience that's been it's been hitting right now. Yeah. So that's the hope.
Yeah. You gotta wait till inspiration strikes, otherwise it's not going to be as good as the other one.
Somebody, Irene Mary Helpler, which I was actually about to post on the Books of Horror, she just posted Undie, our author brawl participant. JP Behrens is having an AMA on YouTube right now. I love it as a little typo of Undie author.
I love it.
I'm going to write Undie stories.
Look, I actually had this sitting by just in case an opportunity presented itself.
About Undie?
I'm an Undies author.
Nice. That's awesome.
It's the latest one I'm in, so I figured I'd just give it a little plug. If anybody out there likes erotica with their horror.
Yeah, I don't do the Undie stories. That's more your territory.
Backwards. How do I make it less backwards?
I don't know.
It's backwards, but it's the Big Book of Orgasms, Volume 2.
Oh, you know what? It's only backwards on your camera. On YouTube, it's showing up.
There you go. That's my plug.
But, yeah, but for the people watching, please ask your questions. I don't care what you ask. That's why it's an AMA. Ask me whatever you want.
Yeah, otherwise this
ask Heather whatever you want.
Will dissolve.
You can ask her about me and what it's like to hang out with me for a week, because she did recently at Yale Writers Workshop.
Yes, it was amazing. I only went because of JP, because I was jealous. That's
there you go. Professional jealousy, doing a good thing.
Yes, no, last year you went and you were telling me all about it, and it seriously sounded like I never got to go to summer camp as a kid. And I was like, if there was ever a summer camp I wanted to go to, this is it.
Well, it's funny because that description, when you said that, I'm like, you're 100% correct. And when everyone asked me about it, I'm like, my friend Heather said this, and she's 100% right. Yeah. This is what it's like. And so, yeah, that's what I've been, that's exactly what I've been giving people. Yeah. And telling people.
And it was great. Like, it was 100% worth the money, and I've felt like motivated and validated and met a really great group of people. We just had a Zoom meeting yesterday, like as many people as could join from the Yale group.
Oh, from your group.
We're just trying to do like a monthly check-in, and like Sergio popped in, and it was really great.
Did he give you you have to write a short story with a keyword thing?
No.
At the end? Oh,
no.
So last year at the end of our group, he was like, in a month we'll get together. It was like a couple months. I forget what it was. It was a month or a couple months. we're all going to get together and we're going to share like quick flash fictions based around a single word, and then whoever wrote the best one by vote got to hang out at someone's house during some convention in Seattle. And all of us were like, none of us are going to Seattle, dude. What are you talking about? But a couple people did the thing, and like because there was this weird, there was a big thing about donuts last year in our group. So the key word was we have to write a story about a donut.
Yeah, no, I think he was probably just really glad to be rid of us because we just like he said he was like there was more crying in this group than there has been in any other group.
Like what, in class?
Yeah, we just all wrote really emotional stuff and made each other cry a lot.
We also said you're like the hardest working group that he's ever had, and from what I heard, he's not wrong.
That's awesome. Yeah,
which is great.
Was magical.
I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, we're actually talking. I mean, Lord knows if it'll actually happen, but there's some big writing association. Sergio said it was like Lollapalooza for writers.
Yeah, that's the thing that he was telling us to go to Seattle.
Yeah, so
it's
we were talking about maybe some of us trying to go from the group, and Sergio said he'd probably go. So
yeah, well, I mean, where was it? Did he say where it was going to be next year?
This one's in Kansas City, and it's really close to one of the guys in our group. And
that's what happened last year with Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
There's no way.
We might try to go. If I actually end up trying to go, I'll let you know. It's nice. In February. I think it's 4 days. But
you will more than likely not see me there. Kansas City, that's money.
Well, yeah. I mean like I envision us all like sharing an Airbnb or something.
Well, no, I'm talking about the flight. Just the flight
alone.
I
looked it up. It was like $200, I think. Okay. It wasn't too bad because that's what I'm thinking. Like I can't drop a lot of money on it.
Yeah. Right now, I think because I'm trying to hit shows and I'm paying for tables to sell, I gotta like really pick my stuff. Yeah. And I've already booked like a show for next year in Tennessee called TBR.
We're traveling.
It's a whole brand new convention. It's next September 2024 called TBR Con. It's being run by a author on Books of Horror and on Facebook, Megan Stockton, who she's getting a lot of authors together, and I mean she's ramping this up like a year and a half ahead. So it looks like she's trying to build it up. So I have high hopes for it. It's like a 3-day convention, but yeah, I think it's the Tennessee Book Readers Convention or something. I think that's what the TBR stands for.
Yeah, I've actually...
And I'm hoping it works out well and it's good, and that'll be next September, so hopefully I'll have some new stuff out.
Oh, yeah, that'll...
Well, I'll have the collection. Hopefully I'll have something else on top of that. That'd be nice.
Yeah, but I've actually been... This is coming at a good time, because I've actually been in the mood for horror lately. So, yeah, so what was it, Megan Stockton?
Yes, Megan Stockton. Ooh. I think she might actually be in the portrait group.
Mm. What? Ooh. Is this her? Is she? I wish she would join because I want to know if this is her. Quiet, Pretty Things. That sounds interesting. I'm just gonna put it on my TBR list anyway because it sounds interesting.
I'm pretty sure. Here you go, members. Let's look at who the members are.
Yeah.
Let me see.
But yeah, I'm wanting to.
Riveting when I go through. She's not in the group, at least not that I see. But I know she is in Books of Horror. But let's see here, Megan Stockton. Let's see. Says intro: language alchemist, collector of moments, friend to creatures, addict of life, hunter of happiness.
She sounds cool.
And it's her.
She sounds cool.
Yeah, it's got it's a picture of her with a lake behind it, so that would be Megan.
Okay.
if you're looking for her on
No,
Facebook.
I will look her up and see if she is the author of this book, because I'm just like steady adding stuff to my Goodreads
Oh,
TBR list.
I hear you. Yeah, it's it's a steady type of thing, but I don't know. I have high hopes, but yeah, I'm already booked for AuthorCon next year. I'm doing CT Horror Fest at the end of this year. I'm actually doing something next month that I just signed up for called the Book Fiend Book Festival, a Reader Festival, Book Fiend Reader Festival. That's like one town over. So I'll see what happens there.
Okay.
I have no idea. I've been told that it's a good show.
Like
so
one town over from you?
Yeah, like one
Yeah.
town over from me. It's maybe like a 30-minute
Well, that sounds like low risk, so that's...
Exactly. It's not too crazy. It's not that far. And I've heard that it's very popular. So people will at least be there.
Yeah.
And that's that's better than a couple of
I was going to say, sometimes that's the hardest part, is just getting people through the door.
Yeah, that it is. And I feel for the two shows that I went to that got 0 people through the door. But at the same time, I feel like you need to reevaluate how you're promoting the thing to get people through the door. And
it's gonna be so embarrassing.
At the very least, get a banner and put it on the front of the building so people will see.
Yeah.
Because I mean, one of these things, the door to get in was behind the building, and in a parking lot, and the front of the building, just this blank building. You would not have known there was anything inside that building if you didn't already know ahead of time about the place.
Yeah.
So it was like they needed to put a banner out and be like, here's this giant banner, like books. Yeah. But it's one of those things that's like, you got to live and learn, and I'm learning.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need, is just a giant banner that says books. Because I mean, like, if anybody ever wanted to kidnap me and lure me into a van, it would just be like, hey, I've got some books in this van. Do you want to come look?
Like, yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Like, absolutely. I would love to take a look at your books.
Yes.
Oh, my God. That's sad. It's because it's 100% true. Most readers would be like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always joke that about my... Well, I probably shouldn't say that online. I keep a pretty good eye on him. But no, my son, I always say, I'm like, you don't even have to be like, oh, I've got a puppy in here. You can just be like, I've got some duct tape and rope in here.
Oh,
do you want to see it? And my son would be like, yeah, I do. I keep a very close eye on that one.
Video games. Like, we have the new video game. I'm like, really? That would be my kids. My kids would be video games? What?
Yeah.
Yes.
I quiz my kids. He did do good in the library the last time when I went to use the bathroom, and I left him like outside the bathroom door. If somebody says they've got candy, do you go in the van? And he's like, no. And I'm like, if somebody says they got PJ Masks toys, do you go in the van? No. Good job.
But if kids say they have books in the van, do you go in the van? No. Yes, you go.
Yes, you definitely go. And you go see if they have anything that mommy might like.
Yes. You go look at those books.
Yes. That is the only thing we go into strange vans for. It's books.
Yes.
And there's your next short story.
Yeah. No. I you know what? I need to finish my YA edits.
Yes.
I need to send them to you and the people that are waiting for them for their prize. And then what I've been trying to figure out is whether or not I'm going to send you the thing first, and then have you do the clean, do your edits, and then send it to them, or send it all at the same time. I'm still trying to work that out.
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet what route I want to take on that.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know.
But I'll figure it out when I get it done. Like right now, it's like I'm putting the cart above the horse. I need to.
First things first.
I need to get it done.
Getting them done.
So the real goal here is to just finish it. So yeah, I'm hoping to get that dealt with, get that finished up, get the cuts done, and get it to you and go crazy. But other than that, yeah, it's just been kind of writing and reading. All I've been doing. And yeah, having the kids home for summer break is killing me, productivity wise.
Yeah, I'm kind of not even trying to get on a regular writing schedule until September.
I can't afford to. I have
Well,
to get stuff done.
yes, that's true. Well, that's and that's the
unfortunately.
thing. Like I have to fit in like the blog writing when I would rather be doing my writing, and
Right.
you have to fit
Well,
in your writing.
yeah, and that's one thing I was saying in terms of like when it comes to jealousy. I'm jealous of your blog writing mainly because that is a steady income that I don't have, and I honestly don't have the tools as a writer or the patience as a writer to do it.
Yeah.
I can barely keep up with my own blog, let alone other people's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And it is
the
nice,
idea,
but I'm jealous because I
Mhm.
would rather be writing other stuff and focusing on my writing career, but I have to, I have to go with what makes money, and it is writing, and I am excited that I can say, I have a steady income writing, but it's still not writing what I want to be writing.
Oh yeah, no, I totally understand. But having that money come in is definitely a boost.
Oh yeah.
It gives you a little bit of security.
Yeah. No, I am very, very grateful. But I will say one thing I think I learned at Yale was that the blog writing might be affecting my fiction a little bit because
How so?
I think it was like I kind of lost my like literary. I was writing very sort of narrative, like short clipped sentences, like very much, these are the facts you need to know. These are, which is what I have to do in the blogs. It's like it has to be a certain word count. You have to get the information out there. You need the keywords. You need, it was, I think it was getting a little dry. I think. And
Okay.
I do think I'm good at writing blogs because I have the creative background, so I can make it sound a little bit interesting. But at the end of the day, it's informative. So it made my writing sound a little more informative, and I've been working on making it sound more, musical, I guess. Like poetic. Yeah. So I don't know, it's all kind of a give and take, but
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like you'll read something or you'll be doing something
Mhm.
so much that when you sit down and switch gears, it's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, but reading
So
helps me get out of that. Like, you read a really good book by a really talented author, and it just like, I don't know, it improves my writing almost immediately because I'm like, that's where my brain is.
Right. Well, so next month for this, I'm going to be doing this same AMA. I'm doing it with Dan Franklin, who wrote Eater of the Gods. And his book is the one that's up against mine in the Books of Horror book brawl.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're going to interview each other and talk about each other's books, which will be fun.
And fight.
And yeah, we're going to fight. We're going to trash talk each other. We're going to straight up WWE this noise. But yeah, we were going to talk, and I'm like reading his book now because I'm doing that next month. And there's a couple other books in the brawl that I still need to read. But other than that, because I'm finishing up the YA book and I'm about to do the neo-noir thing, I have like a big pile of like Elmore Leonard and Raymond Carver that I'm just going to just drown myself in so that I can go and do the writing.
Yes, it gets you in the right headspace.
Like, I gotta get this. So I've got to immerse myself in that sort of writing so that I can produce something decent.
Yep.
It's like, I totally get it. Like I do that all the time. I remember I used to read tons of Neil Gaiman, and one of my friends who read some of my stuff was like, "You read a lot of Neil Gaiman." I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah.
Because you could tell. I'm like, you kind of especially when you're first starting out, you kind of absorb all the people you're reading, and then you emulate, and you're trying really hard to. And it's until you find your voice.
Yeah.
It's like it's a pastiche until eventually you kind of hit that voice.
Yeah. Well.
And the sad thing is, I don't even know if I've hit my voice. Like people say they read my stuff, and they're like, "No, we can totally tell you wrote it." I'm like, "Great, I guess." I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like my voice changes all the time. It depends on my mood. Like,
I think a lot of it is like sentence structure and just the vocabulary that I use
That could
and the
be.
way I present stuff that people kind of click and go, "Oh yeah, that's totally a
Yeah, I
JPG."
could see that because I know a lot of famous authors have gotten called out on their pen names, like oh, it was J.K. Rowling when she wrote Casual Vacancy under the pen name, and
No, Casual Vacancy she wrote under her own. She wrote the Strike mystery series under Robert
oh, okay,
Goldthwait.
okay, yeah, you're
I can't
probably
remember the
right.
actual last name. Yeah, but that was like nobody knew about that until one of the lawyers dealing with the estate gave it out.
Oh, okay.
So nobody really knew that that was the deal, and she got them into a ton of trouble
Okay.
because they were not supposed to reveal that, and when it got revealed, they got hit pretty hard because I'm pretty sure there was like an NDA involved somewhere
Oh,
in that
okay.
mess
Because it well,
that they were not supposed to reveal that.
yeah, there have been though where they got caught just because of their sentence structure and I guess their voice. Like I don't know for sure, but I know like was it Nora Roberts is JD Robb? I don't know if that was
Yeah.
originally out or if like she got kind of called out on it. And Steve, I thought that
I'm not
happened to
sure.
Stephen King with something.
Richard. Oh God, what's Richard Bachman?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and people. It was funny because they went to great lengths to hide that because they even had like a fake author
Oh,
photo
that's funny.
on those books, and there was like this whole like backstory of why Richard Bachman never did signings. Like it was this really weird. It's weird, but it was like he's a recluse. He doesn't like deal with people. He doesn't go anywhere. And then eventually it came out, but like no, yeah, Richard Bachman's Stephen
Yeah.
King. People finally figured it out,
Well,
but yeah,
yeah. Well, I guess my point, which maybe it's not a very good one if these ones weren't real secrets. But does make me wonder how many famous authors write under pen names and like we don't even know.
I mean a lot from my understanding.
Probably.
I know a lot. I've become aware that there are a couple authors who have like some authors will like even their pen names they'll have like three separate pen names for three separate
Yeah.
genres. And I've thought about it, but I decided against it only because like cuz my wife was always all like maybe you should have a different name for your YA stuff. And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, but I really don't want to. I'd rather just keep everything
Yeah.
under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
But I understand the reason behind doing that, especially when your adult stuff might be a little bit more extreme, or it's just loud, or you want to differentiate your adult work from your YA
Yeah.
stuff, so the kids aren't accidentally picking up other books. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, if you're shopping in the YA section, you shouldn't be over in the fantasy section or in the horror
Yeah.
section.
And
But if you are, I mean, that's part of the reason why I try to be really straightforward and have trigger warnings and all that stuff. It's like, open the book, take a look. You realize really quickly that this is not for you. So,
yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, and I think I mean, well, I wrote erotica under a pen name because I always knew that I'd want to
Yep.
write other stuff
Not
too. But
erotica.
it's just so complicated and so confusing because like I wrote a lot of just straight erotica and under Heather
Mhm.
Lynn, and that's fine. But then I wrote romance that had, sex in it, but it wasn't erotica, it was romance. And then I started to think like,
Right.
is that different? Is that a different genre? And then like the Cthulhu story had to do with sex, but it was more literary. So I went with my real name for that. But there's just so many gray areas that now I'm kind of like, I think whatever I write, I'm just going to do it under Heather Straub and
Yeah.
let people figure it out. If they're readers, they should be able to read a blurb.
Yeah, right. One author who I think does a great job, and I'm jealous of her because I could do it, but I don't want to go by my actual name because I go by JP. That's just what people call me. But Victoria Schwab, she writes. Victoria Schwab is I think that Victoria one is I believe the young adult ish version of her stuff, and then V.E. Schwab is the more adult stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's one or the other. But she has V.E. Schwab and Victoria Schwab, and you know it's the same person.
Right.
But
like she's not trying to hide it, but
she's not even remotely.
The boundary
it's just
is
kind of
clear.
like a flag that says,
yeah,
this is this, this is this. Don't cross the streams if you're gonna.
Yeah, but see, also this is the stuff I don't want to have to stress over, which is why like I dabbled in self-publishing, and I might again, and that's fine. But I would love to just have somebody in the industry professionally, like an agent, to just bounce this stuff off of. Like, what would work? What wouldn't work? Is this like, should I have another pen name? Like, what should my other pen name be? Like, not necessarily, just have somebody to bounce stuff off of. I will gladly pay their commission just to, not feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I know how to write. That's all I know how to do.
Yeah, I thought about, like, one thing I could do maybe was see if the publishers would be willing to maybe change the typography of how, or the font of how the name J.P. Behrens is spelled, and then how it's presented. And, like, one would be this, the other would be this. Yeah. But it's one of those things in the future that I can worry about if I can sell Avarath, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it would be fun is if for horror you had J.P. Behrens, and then for like YA you had J.P. Behrens.
Question mark?
Just throw a question mark on the end.
Is this really the same guy who wrote Portrait?
Exactly.
Yo, so I actually, you know that I go and I check my reviews, and the 4 and 5 star ones I screenshot and I post them on my author page, and I share them weekly and all that. So I was going through them, and every like maybe couple months I'll skim through the 2 and 1 star reviews just to see what people are saying, or like what the most recent one was.
Or if you're having like just an evening of self-loathing.
No, I don't really care that much, honestly. Luckily, the numbers are so low and they're so rare that it doesn't set me off. If I get flooded with 1 stars, I'll probably stop looking altogether. But
that's fair.
There was one though that the person, and it kind of annoyed me because the person went off about the stuff that was in the trigger warning, which I'm like, I literally put a trigger warning on it. Read the trigger warning. But that didn't even bother me as much as the last sentence in the thing was, save your money unless you're as sick as this author. And I'm like, okay, lady, you can say whatever you want about the book. I'm fine with that, but you don't know me. Don't think I'm some sick weirdo because I wrote a extreme psychological horror.
Yes.
Splatterpunk horror. Like, it doesn't make me a sick person. I wrote a story. Chill the hell out. And I found that really aggravating that somebody said that. That pissed me off so bad.
No, I can definitely see that. But that's funny because, like, what is a negative review for some people is a positive review for other people. It just reminds me of, so my friend Amy and I, we have this little like erotica book club going where like the 2 of us will be like, oh, the sexy book's coming out, we should read it at the same time. So we do. And she sent me this, it was a reviewer. The book was fine if you're into that kind of thing, but it was a little too rough for me. And then Amy sent me a screenshot of buy now with 1 click.
There you go.
So it just depends. They're going to be like, we love sick stuff. Let's buy this.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it was the thing that killed me. Like I said, you can call the book whatever you want. If you'd said this book is sick, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. Not going to argue. But the fact that they called me personal, I'm like, personal attacks is a bit much. Chill out. Yeah,
no, it is. It is.
So, yeah, I was not happy with that particularly. But beyond that, I was like, all right, you guys are lame.
Yeah, but writing in horror, I mean, I feel like that has always been an argument. Like, how can you write about something this sick without being this sick yourself?
Oh, yeah. No, it was a recent thing, actually. Like, there was a big to-do on, I think, probably Facebook and Twitter, where people were slamming horror authors, and especially, like, splatterpunk authors, about, all this garbage and just flipping out at people and like, how can you write about this sick stuff and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, like it's a story, guys, and some stories require that stuff. There are some books that I've read that I'm like, yeah, this is a little bit much. Like this is a lot of crazy, and I don't see the reason behind it.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's like I don't see the reason behind it. It's not for me, but I'm not making some judgment on the person who wrote it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that's the
Yeah, I
kicker.
mean,
Is like,
yeah, I struggled a little bit because I just finished reading this book. Oh, I don't like to bring up books if I can't remember the author name, so give me a minute. But it was called Tampa.
you
And
told me about that, yeah.
did I? Yeah,
You
it was a
mentioned it, yeah.
yeah, it's about this woman who oh, Alyssa Nutting, and this is the cover. Can you see that? I don't know. It's a
Yep, there you
buttonhole,
go.
but
Yep.
it's a buttonhole, but it looks like a vagina. So no, but the whole thing is about this like young teacher, like in her 20s, who seduces like eighth grade boys. Like that's what she finds attractive, and it gets like fairly graphic, and it's weird, and I felt a little weird reading it, and it's this really strange juxtaposition between like this is really well written
Mm-hmm.
and thought provoking, but it's also kind of sick. And I did, have I kind of had the thought, I was like, if this ends well for her, I might have a different opinion of the author.
Yeah.
Like she needs to get arrested, otherwise I'm going to feel like this is almost pro
Pro
pedophilia.
Nambla. Pro Nambla.
Yeah, but it was weird because I did have the thought a couple times. I'm like, why would she, like, what inspired her to write this?
Yeah, that's yeah.
But then I had the thought again. It's like, we all have, I think we all have intrusive thoughts.
Sure.
Some of us turn those intrusive thoughts into stories.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, a lot of us will have things along the lines of, God, like I have what if crap that goes through my head
Yeah.
constantly. That's kind of where the portrait came from. But at the same time, it's not like I'm being like, oh, what if I went and did this? It's more of just like, oh, well, what if this happened? How would this and what would be the
Yes.
next thing? What's the cause and effect of this?
Yeah, and honestly, I did not look into the background of this story, but you know how everybody always makes fun of the crazy news stories that come out of Florida?
Oh yeah, well yeah, Florida man, yeah.
Yeah, I did think, I was like, well, it's called Tampa, so maybe she saw a news article and it sparked some
There
inspiration.
you go. Yeah, that's pretty funny though.
Yeah, you never know, but yeah, no, it's, I don't know. It's called creativity.
True.
Like it doesn't mean that you're sick. It just means that, I don't know, you're creative.
Yeah, I mean it's weird, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's all crazy. But no, I mean it just people who flip out about that stuff always does. It just bugs me because I'm always like, but we're not. None of us are crazy. None of us are sickos. We're just writing stories, and honestly, most of us are right. It's not the stuff, the extreme stuff that's happening in the book isn't necessarily what we find interesting. Is we're taking things to an extreme to
Yeah.
point something out. That's really what splatterpunk is to take things to an extreme to really like emphasize an issue. So for me, it was enabling and uh, child abuse, enabling and
Yeah.
mental health. And really just taking it to just this ridiculous extreme of what happens when you enable someone who's mentally ill and don't get them help and try to ignore it and wait for it to get better. Here's all the crazy crap that could happen. And
Yeah.
what it's and what some of these people feel like with a god complex and all of that stuff. That was what it was about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
but
some people
people
just can't see
yeah,
past
and I've had some
the
people read it and be like,
gore.
"Oh, you're just doing this for animal cruelty." I'm like, "Definitely not. That's not what I was
Okay.
doing." So it gets a little like yeah. So when people hit me with that type of stuff, I'm kind of like, come on. I've had some people say it was started out slow or it did this or it's funny because I think I've had numerous people say it got slow at parts, but almost every single person disagrees on where it was slow. I've had people say it was
Mm.
slow in the beginning, but then picked up at the end. I've had people be like, "Oh, it was great in the beginning, but then it got slow at the end," and I'm like, "There's not I can't really address any of that." Like, I
Yeah.
feel you. I get what you're saying. There's literally nothing I can do with it.
Yeah. Plus, I think nowadays, I mean, maybe it's because of like TV and Netflix and that instant gratification, but a lot of people expect action every single page.
Yeah, and for a psychological horror that's really like a character study, that's not gonna happen most of the time.
Right.
Um, but you still goof around, and like I said, but I actually was talking to somebody recently in a different interview. It was with books. Oh God, books and beers, or not books and beers. My brain just fried. But I just recently did an interview with somebody who reviewed my book, and we were talking after the
Oh,
interview.
is that the one that made the cocktail?
Yes, that one.
Yes, that
And
that was good.
apparently that cocktail is legit called the taxidermy. That's like a real thing.
I wasn't sure if she made that up or
That's what
not.
I asked. I was like, "Did you make that up? Like, did
Yeah.
your cousin or your cousin or your friend who read the book and told you to read it make it up?" And she was like, "No, 100%. That's real." I was like, "That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it."
Books, booze, and horror reviews.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, books, booze, and horror reviews. That's right.
Yeah.
And so after
That's
the
good.
interview, we were talking, and I said, people keep wanting to know when my next splatterpunk book is going to be, and I was like, I really don't know. And then I kind of thought about it for a minute, and I said, I'll be honest, if I ever do another one, it's gonna be on the line of like, if you ever seen the movie Event Horizon?
No, but I read the Wikipedia
Oh my,
synopsis.
yeah, the Wikipedia synopsis does no justice to how insane that movie
Sure
is.
not.
That movie messed me up as a kid. To this day, as an adult, it kind of screws me up. And the crazy thing is that the version that you can see on DVD or on streaming, wherever you can find it, the version you watch is nothing compared to what apparently the director's cut was. Like, the director's
Oh.
cut was so messed up that the test audiences were like just so horrified and sickened that they had to cut it. They were like, we have to edit this down. We have to cut huge amounts from this because it's screwing people up.
Oh my
And
gosh.
people are like, come on, release the director's cut. And it's impossible because it's some weirdo fire burned like the original cut of it. So you can't, it's unrecoverable. You cannot, any ability to bring that back has been lost. So there's no remaining vestige of the director's cut, but there's stories told about it, and it's insane. And I'm like, I really want to see the director's cut.
Well, like I said, I've been in a horror mood, and what is it? I just saw, I think that it's 96 minutes. See, that's the thing, because I actually was gonna watch Midsummer one
I
night,
do want to watch that too.
but then I found out it's like 2.5 hours.
I've given up on sitting
So
through a movie in one sitting. I can't do it. I have, with the kids
I think I
home,
need to get,
I'm
yeah.
like, I watch things in 15, 20-minute chunks perpetually. I,
I think I just need to accept that right now.
I've given
That
it up. With the
that's
kids
what I
at
have to
home,
do.
especially in the summer, there's no chance. And with my work schedule and the stuff I got to get done, the only time I can really watch a show is lunchtime. And
Yeah.
at dinner time when my wife isn't home to force me not to watch stuff during dinner. Because when she's not home, all of us watch our videos while we eat. So I'm like, yeah, you guys can watch. It's funny because they're like, Mom's not home. I'm like, no. And they're like, cool. And they bring their iPad and watch TV. I'm like, I don't care. I get to watch what I'm
Yeah.
watching. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not mom. I'm like, no toys at the
Yeah.
table, no electronics at the table. We're all gonna stare at each other.
Nope. No, when Steph's not home, we're all like, no. I want to watch my 20 minutes of whatever.
Yeah. No, like once a week, like tonight's my laundry folding night, so I'm like, I might finally watch the Meg.
Oh yeah, the Meg. I haven't. Yeah.
Excited. I'm sure it's awful, but I love that stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, Steph. That's when Steph watches TV. Generally, is when she's folding laundry. But even then, it's like she watches and the kids walk in. She's watching stuff the kids can generally walk in on. When I'm watching horror stuff, they can't walk in on some of the stuff I'm watching.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like some of this stuff is just too nuts, and I was like, you guys can't be watching this, so I have to cut it because. And so yeah, it's like I've given up on watching anything straight through.
So do you mean with the Event Horizon thing? Because that's gonna go on my list.
Event
Short
Horizon's
and
great.
horror.
It's such a dark friggin' movie, but it's great.
So do you mean you would write something like that shocking, or you would write something? Because isn't it is it kind of an extraterrestrial type?
No, so it's
No.
the Event Horizon is I think it's the Event Horizon's the ship. This ship is a deep space ship that was studying stuff. It disappears and it disappeared like while it was studying a black hole. And then 15 years ish it comes back and appears outside the black hole. So they send another ship to investigate what happened. And while they're investigating, they discover that the ship had gone to hell or a hell dimension, and everybody lost their minds and basically tortured each other and themselves to death. And now the ship is potentially possessed with the powers and the soul of hell.
Oh, see, yeah, I think when I read that, I thought that was like an alien or something.
Yeah, no, it's like they don't tell you exactly that it went to hell, but
Right.
as the story progresses, that's the insinuation that the ship went to hell or a hell-like dimension, and then was imbued with the dark forces of that dimension and caused the crew to go crazy. And now the new crew is the ship is killing them and or making them crazy.
Wow.
And then there were videos like when they're going through the logs. There were logs that this is the part that got cut. Is they actually in some of the logs it shows what the other dimension looked like and what the people the original crew did to each other. And apparently it's really really dark. It really messed up. So I would do it's a real like mind twister type thing, and that's the kind of thing I would probably write. Is it would be very much like a question of it would still be totally about insanity and people losing it, but yeah, some kind of multiversal type deal where people are going crazy, and yeah, and just and it was in sci-fi.
I'm excited about it. Go read it.
Yeah, it would be straight up sci-fi horror. Splatterpunk sci-fi horror, something along those lines where I could mess around with all types of different, like especially multiversal type of nonsense. I would totally do something like that.
All right.
But something that just really makes you question what reality is. That would be fun.
Yeah. And I gotta see which streaming service is Event Horizon.
I don't know. You know what?
Find out.
HBO Max might have it, or Max now. Not HBO anymore.
AMC Plus.
Oh God, AMC Plus. That sucks.
Nobody has that.
Very few people have that. That's the problem. There's too many streaming services now. Like I think you can, if you have Hulu, you can subscribe to AMC Plus.
Man, the most frustrating thing is that I know a few years from now somebody's going to be like, wouldn't it be great if you had all these streaming services in one place for one fee? And there's cable.
Oh yeah, but the problem is all those like the streaming services I think figured that out that was a possibility, and they made it so that you had to sign an exclusivity contract. So so like because if you're on Netflix, you technically can't be on anything else. If you're on Disney Plus, you can't really be on anything else. So you're all locked in
frustrating.
Paramount Plus, you can't be on anything else if you're on Paramount Plus. That's why all the Star Trek stuff is on Paramount Plus.
That makes sense.
Not be on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it gets really confusing because especially with the kids, it's like there's this random like Canadian sitcom called Some Assembly Required that the kids are they love. And the first 2 seasons are on Netflix, but the 3rd season is on Amazon Prime. I'm like, why?
See, yeah, I've had to pick which ones I'm going to be on. So I've got Hulu, Disney. I have Amazon Prime because I shop on Amazon a lot. And I use the music and all that stuff. And then we have Netflix. But honestly, Netflix is something we're probably going to be stepping away from because now that once The Witcher...
Because Henry Cavill's not The Witcher anymore.
Yeah, as soon as The Witcher Season 3 is done, I'm probably not going to care anymore. And then and then I want HBO Max back, but I just can't afford it.
Yeah.
And the only reason I want HBO is because they have a couple television shows, and they have a bunch of the old Cartoon Network shows that were really funny that I would like to watch.
Yeah, I know you're a huge fan of Sex and the City.
I don't care about that.
I know.
I couldn't care less about that.
That was a joke.
But they do have some cool stuff coming out on HBO Max that I would like. I'd love to watch it, but I would rather. I really want to watch all the Disney stuff. I still really want to watch all the Star Wars, all the Marvel. So I'm still like,
And it's also it kind of forces you also to limit how much you're watching,
which is fine.
You can only watch so much.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, like I eventually I'm probably going to get to the point where I just buy like a month on each streaming service at a time, just binge everything I want to watch in that month, and then the next month switch to whatever I need to, whatever has the most amount of stuff I want to watch, and then watch it for a month.
Yeah.
And then switch and just start bouncing around once a month, and just binge it all. I don't care.
Yeah, well, it's like with Outlander. I mean, my friend Amy and I would split a Starz subscription, and we would only get it when Outlander was out.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people were doing that because it's like right before the next Outlander season comes out, they're like $20 for 6 months of Starz.
Yeah.
Like sold.
100%. That is exactly. They know what people are signing up for. I'm sure HBO is going to have some crazy deal when the next House of the Dragon comes out. Those shows drive subscriptions, and they know it. So.
Yeah, I wonder if Portrait, because I saw in the group that a lot of people want to see Portrait get made into a miniseries.
Me and you both.
Yeah.
Me and them both.
I never said I did. I'm just kidding. I never said I wanted to. No, I do. But I wonder if it gets made into a miniseries by a company you don't subscribe to. Do you get a free subscription?
I don't know.
As the writer?
I'm sure if I
feel like you
asked,
should.
they'd probably be like, yeah, sure. But I mean, honestly, with the money that you have to pay me, I think I can manage to, pay my own subscription. But no, I mean, I doubt it. I doubt I'd get a free subscription for
I feel like you should.
an option.
I feel like that's the equivalent of you always insisting on getting a copy, a writer's copy of your book. I feel like that's a clause you always make sure is in your contracts. I feel like you should do that for that. If they ever get turned into a miniseries, free subscription for the author.
Maybe. That might be. I mean, there are some other things that I would love to kind of demand. But I think the first couple times that if you get option, the first couple times I got to play it really, really smart.
Oh, yeah.
Not to sink the deal.
Realistically, that is entirely true.
Yeah,
but unrealistically, I mean,
But I'll be honest, if they were like, here's the thing though, I'm not sure how that works, because if it was Netflix, I think you deal directly with Netflix, because then it's a Netflix original. But if you're going through somebody like Hulu, I believe a production company does it, and then they sell it to a streamer. So I think it depends on who's picking it up and who's producing it, whether or not you'd be actually talking directly to a company. So I would end up selling the rights potentially before it ever found a home. And then once they did it and filmed it and all that stuff, then they would eventually, once they had a deal in place and they had all the paperwork and the cast and everything put together, then they would turn around and try to sell it to the different streamers. At which point they would be like, okay, this is who it's going to. So I wouldn't really have too much of a say in terms of who the streamer is when I make my deal. But my deal would probably involve with me being on set, maybe getting a little bit of script writing experience so that I can, build my portfolio of things I can do, and maybe even trying to figure out a way to get on set so that I can harass all the producers and learn their jobs so that maybe one day I can do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know about shadowing, but I was going to say, I think people love author cameos.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, do an author cameo, but I would, in terms of, like, business, being a producer is it make money. So that would be something I would love to get involved with. And it'd be kind of nice because as a writer producer, I would be able to come to the table and actually help and talk to directly with like the WGA and SAG and be like, as a writer, I agree with what they're looking for. If you're looking at like all the with the striking and everything, because the producing company, the company that reps the producers and the CEOs and stuff, they're really being hard asses about some of this stuff and screaming, "Oh, we don't have enough money," even though the CEOs are making tens of millions of dollars, and in some cases, $100.
They don't have money they want to part with.
It's like
not the same.
if you're making anywhere from $50 to $100 million, stop talking about how you don't have money to pay writers. Because we're not even asking for all that much.
Island.
Yeah, we've all like kind of we went into writing and we're fine with being poor. We made our peace with the fact that we're not making a ton of money. But
yeah.
At the same time, recognize that you don't have a product without us. And now they don't even have a product without the actors. The actors are basically coming to the table with the same exact argument of AI is going to destroy our jobs. You can't not address it.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to keep paying the background actors a decent wage until they can make a break. And the writers are like, you got to pay us because these jobs don't pay a ton. And they're not guaranteed. Because, yeah, I could work on a ton of pilots, but unless a pilot gets picked up, I got to work on the next one and the next one until I'm in a writer's room and making a salary. And if that show gets unceremoniously canceled, I got to find a new job, like, immediately. So even for those guys, like, you know, it's a weird situation. Writing is such a weird job, and the way we get paid is so nonsensical that when you're first starting out, you just don't make any money. You start making money after you've put like several books out, and now you have people buying several of your books, and you just keep building and building and building a portfolio that slowly your royalties just kind of build up. It's just a weird gig.
That's just art. It's
and the funny thing is like, I know some of the arguments were, you know, oh no, what if people, you know, like, you guys want, you know, automations to get rid of all these labor jobs in the country, and people were pointing to like, you know, truck drivers, and I was like, listen, and somebody pointed out like truck driver jobs, they can't find enough drivers right now. They actually need to have self-driving trucks just to fill the demand because they can't get enough drivers to take up the jobs. So it's like, the jobs are there. People need to take them and, you know, get the CDLs and do that job. But it's a hard job, and it's rough sitting, you know, driving 12 hours a day in a big rig while people drive around like lunatics around you, and God help you if you run them over, they're dead.
When people playing Beat the Truck.
Yeah, it's like, you know, people do crazy, dangerous stuff around these. I don't blame 18-wheel. I don't blame CDL drivers not wanting to do it, because long-haul trucking is dangerous enough. And then you got Looney Tunes in, you know, I drive a Prius, and Looney Tunes in Prius is diving in front of your truck. It's like, yeah, somebody's going to get hurt, and it's going to be on you. Yeah. And I wouldn't want that stress either. So, I mean, I get it. It's, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but that kind of stuff that's labor jobs, and listen, they need to be done, but I think one of the things we need, I think there's been a big push, or there's been a big like downgrade of people who do art jobs and culture jobs. That's the kind of thing that we should not be outsourcing to computers.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I know it's getting late and we're going on a bit of a tangent, but the whole AI art thing, like how they're, I don't know how people are okay using AI art, because it steals from artists all over the internet who have their stuff up. And it's like, you can say, you know, oh, make me something in the style of so and so, instead of actually paying that artist directly.
Yeah, well, you know, in some situations, like, some of it is like, hey, let's have some fun, and be like, hey, can you make me an anime version avatar or a little picture for my Twitter handle or for Threads or something, and that kind of thing, like, pay $10-$20, sure, but there needs to be a situation where like Chat GPT or any of those AIs are looking at, because I'm sure there is some sort of coding, there's some sort of behind the scenes recording of what that AI is using as reference,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
making sure that those artists get a portion of the 10-20 bucks. And even if that's like, hey, you're
Yeah.
going to get a nickel or you're going to get 10 cents, they pay out to at least and say, listen, our AI did this. And if a lot of people, and that money adds up, if 5 or 10 cents
Yeah.
doesn't sound like much, but if with everybody doing it and with as much money as those companies are making, that adds up, and that should be going to the artists. It just like radio
That's
airplay goes out.
interesting.
When an artist is paid on, when a music artist is on Pandora, when a music artist is played on the radio, they get a couple cents for every time their song
That's
is played.
exactly what I was going to say. It's going to turn more into like song royalties than
And I'd be fine with that.
paying per
And I would
commission.
be completely fine with that. Like,
As long as the artist is getting
yeah,
paid.
I,
Because there have been a few issues. A big sci-fi magazine recently. I'm not going to be able to remember the name, but they just had to pull a cover because it turned out, even though the artist signed a contract saying that he was the original artist, it turned out to be an AI generated
oh,
cover
jeez.
that he still, and I mean, that's happening too. Like book covers are AI generated, and
Well, apparently,
it's really
yeah.
hard
Well,
to
there
tell.
was a big controversy about Secret Invasion on Disney Plus, the Marvel thing. The opening credits are AI or AI generated.
Oh,
I'm curious about who did it. Was an artist? Did an artist go in and AI generate it because they said, "Hey, we want this particular look," and a digital artist said, "Oh, you know what would be cool if we did that with this because it doesn't look
yeah,
precisely human." And if a digital artist, went in and kind of did that as a template and then messed with it a little bit, okay. Again, I think it falls on the AI companies to pay out to the artists that are being used to train the algorithms.
yeah,
So, like, there's a lot to discuss, but the fact that a lot of these groups just don't even want to talk about it and just want
yeah,
to avoid it, it's like that's the problem. It's like, listen, this is a new tech. We need to discuss this, especially in
yeah,
terms of culture, because we as human beings, labor does not enrich our minds and our culture and our society. Art does. Labor is
right.
essential. Art is as well. That's the difference. People look at like, well, farming and labor and trucking is essential and it needs to be done, but art is like superfluous. It's like it's not. It's necessary.
Every single industry, I don't care what it is, if it's investments or whatever, like you need a certain level of creativity to
Yeah,
succeed.
but and well, even to see, but even grow. But
Yeah, and what inspires that
yeah,
creativity? At the very core, it's
yeah,
art.
but yeah. So that's I think my bigger issue is more that I'm just concerned with the direction we're going as a society in terms of whether or not we value art appropriately. You know, a
Yeah,
lot of school districts, are cutting funds, and the first things that go are art programs, music programs, things like that. And it's unfortunately like those things are studies have shown that those things are absolutely necessary. That kids who
oh,
have a musical, who train in music, do better in school. Kids who do art do better in school. And honestly, when everyone was stuck at home at COVID, everybody picked up a hobby. That was how everyone
mm-hmm.
coped. Was I
Yeah,
picked up art. I picked up sourdough bread. I picked up whatever.
yeah,
It was like they had to sink their energy into something that was a hobby, and some of us took our hobbies and tried to turn it into jobs. Like, to be
yeah,
perfectly honest, writing is my job, and the way I kind of offload the stress of writing is I build Legos now. Like, it's like I can't, even though my job is what some people consider a hobby, I
yeah,
have to, like, yeah, it's a job for me, hobby for you. My hobby now is building Legos because
yep,
that's just what helps me get out of my headspace. Because even reading isn't a hobby for me. Reading is part of my job now.
yeah,
I can't even I sit down to read a book, and it's not, I enjoy it still, but sometimes I'm reading the book and really like looking at it from a writer point of view of like, would I have done the same thing? How I would have done that better? Would I cut this line? Because that's all I'm thinking in terms of editing is like when I read my own stuff, I'm like, I need to cut it. Like, is this necessary? No, it's not, you know? So it's just, so yeah, I've taken a lot of the things I enjoyed, turned them into a job, and had to find new things to occupy my mind and kind of like de-stress. And I love video games, but I sink way too much time into them. So it's like I need something I can only sink maybe like 30 minutes into versus 2 hours.
Yeah. And it's also nice to have something that's not, screen related.
Yeah, oh yeah, that too. I sit in front of a computer
screen.
Because,
like, I mean, you'll start to go...
destroy my eyes on a daily basis.
Exactly.
You know, let me go sit in front of a TV and play 2 hours of Assassin's Creed or something. So, so it's like I've been picking up like weirdo puzzle boxes and things like that. That's pretty much how I've been like, this is my de-stress. I'm going to solve this puzzle. And, you got to give yourself just kind of do random things, puzzle books, all types of random junk. But yeah, anymore writing is not a de-stressor anymore. Especially now that I publish, I'm like even less so because now I'm thinking tax-wise, I need to get more out so I don't accidentally become a tax hobby. Because then I can't take any business expenses and it destroys me financially for like the next few.
Yeah, no, that is 1,000%.
So yeah, that's another big stressor that I got to manage. But yeah, but this was fun just to even talk to you. Unfortunately, we didn't get too many people. Apparently, it was just a bad night.
That's okay. It wasn't a bad night.
Well, no, I mean, it was
got
a bad
to hang
night
out with
for
you.
people to show up. I know a couple people were like driving, and a couple people hit me up and were like, "Oh, I'm driving. I wish I could have been there." I'm like, "I get you." I think I'm gonna have to stick to Saturday night. That seems to be a better night, but I'm gonna open it up the discussion on the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group and you watch this video, go to Portrait of a Nuclear Family Facebook group. Go in there. I'll probably make a mention on my webpage. I'll make a mention on the Facebook group, and I'll make a mention in the Books of Horror group, and see when is a better time for people. I do know the next one is gonna be in mid-afternoon because there are a handful of people in the portrait group that are in Europe, and this for them is something like midnight. So
yes.
I've been talking to them, and I'm going to try and do it at like 1 o'clock next month.
Okay.
So that the people in Europe can get on around 7 or 8. It's just a question of what day I'm going to do it. And next month is rough because I've got a lot going on next month. So I got to figure out a date I might even have to do it on like a Friday, which will be really annoying because it'll be like the middle of the workday. So I'll figure it out. But, next month is going to be Dan Franklin, author of Eater of the Gods, the book that is up against mine in the Books of Horror Book Brawl. Apparently it's really good, and I'm very annoyed about this. I was hoping to glide through the first round, but oh well. I think every round's gonna be an absolute just slugfest between the books, so it should be interesting.
I'm just adding him to my TBR. Hold on.
Yeah, I started reading it. I'm about 4 or 5 chapters in. It's a very quick, easy read. It's compelling so far. I'm only in the beginning of it. But a lot of people who I'm friends with have been very, very like, this is amazing. One of my friends, Erica Summers, she loves my book and his book. And I said, you realize we're in the first round. And she's like, are you joking? I said, no, seriously, you have to decide between our two. And she's like, I don't want to. I was like, I don't blame you. I get it. And she's like, she was like, your books are completely different. Like, yours is like a psychological horror and it's niche. And his is far more commercial. And I was like, oh yeah, that sucks. Because it's going to be an easy choice for people. For a lot of people are going to be like, I really don't like that kind of book. I want this kind of book. So I was like, I think it's going to be a really tight. It's going to be a really tight vote, and if anyone loses, and whoever loses, it's going to be like the reason's going to be roughly like this was really weird and psychological and character study. This was more very plot driven and fast and fun. So I'll be like, yeah, it's like people are gonna lose. Whoever loses is gonna lose on a weird, for an oddball reason, and it's not even gonna be like this book was better than that one. It's more gonna be like this was just the one that happened to edge out the other.
That's kind of nice,
reason.
though.
Like, yeah, it just sucks that we're both in the first round. It would have been nice that we both could have gotten a little further. So yeah, I personally I just want to go up against Carver Pike because his book is Faces of Beth, and his is psychological horror. So I kind of wanted I kind of wanted Faces and Portrait to go head to head just because of that, and I kind of wanted to kick his ass because he beat me in the other book brawl in a different group.
Oh gosh.
And I want revenge. I need vengeance. So
well, you might get your chance. When does the voting end?
I don't know. I know it starts mid to end September. They haven't actually set an exact date in September. And I don't know how they're running it. I don't know if it's like a vote a day, a vote a week, or around a week. I'm not 100% sure how they're doing it. But I know they don't expect it to run very long. So they might just be doing like around a week and be like, and they're just going to post everybody's head-to-head for that first week in Books of Horror and they'll be like, it's up for a week. We're going to pin it. People make your votes. And then it'll go for maybe 4 weeks and it'll be done. So I'm not sure. I think that's what they were talking about, but we'll see what happens, what they actually do. Either way, it won't go long. If it's like a matchup a day, it's still going to go pretty stinking fast. It'll still be done within a month. So it'll probably go through the course of October. And at the end of October, we'll have a winner.
Well, that would make sense. That'd be timely.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that they start the voting after Connecticut Horror Fest. That way I can kind of talk it up a bit.
Yeah.
And then I got to reach out to them, actually, and see if they'll send me some promotional materials specifically for Connecticut Horror Fest, and I can hand them out. But other than that, yeah. So next month is that little interview, and we'll talk, and we'll slam each other's books. We'll definitely talk about each other's books and talk to each other, and that'll be fun. And then I'll have to figure out what I'm doing the month after that. I'll work it out.
That's a lot of exciting stuff. I'm gonna try to read his book before your next AMA. Too.
Yeah, so like anybody who watches this, and I'll probably post tomorrow with the link to the whole thing, or one day. I'll do it soon. But when I post, I'll definitely mention the next one's with Dan Franklin and to read his book before coming to the AMA, so that you guys can talk to us and to him, talk to me and him, and ask us questions and be prepared. Your assignment, your homework assignment for next month. But it's a short book.
And
it's a short little novella,
if you
so
ever,
it won't take long for anybody.
Oh yeah. But if you ever run low on guests, I'm around.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely be having you on more often and stuff, and we'll talk about all manner of things, and hopefully, did you send out your 50 pages to the agent?
I did. So yeah. Hopefully I'll have some good news.
Yeah, if you get good news about that, we'll definitely do another thing, and we'll talk about it, and we'll talk up your book.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
When it comes out.
All right. Let me shut this down and stop streaming. And remember, everybody, make sure you subscribe, hit like, all that fun nonsense, so that you will hear about the next thing. And eventually one day I'll get enough subscribers that I'll get a nice little silver plaque with a YouTube button on it, and I'll put it behind me.
Wait, my kid's watching enough YouTube videos. I know what to do. Hit that, smash that like button, ring that bell.
Do all that stuff. One day we'll be as big as Mr. Beast talking about books.
Next week I'll cover myself in slime.
Oh my God. You have fun with that. That's not happening in my office. All right, guys. See you later.